choices. Okay, so we have the table, the graph. Now I'm going to go by 2s, but really I'm still going by 1s. I'm just not writing the odd numbers because you know it gets cramped down there. So we have the x-axis labeled. And then the y-axis, I'm going to go every other line is going to be worth 5.
What is happiness measured in?
I don't have that answer for you. That's a little intense for a Friday morning there, Adam. I don't know if I can elaborate on that. Okay, so we have this. Now we need to create our parabola. So we're going to use all of our amazing math quadratic tricks to do this. First thing, let's write out our quadratic formula. Does anybody else sing the song while they write it?
Absolutely.
I do in my head.
At the beginning, but I forget it. I just have to think it in my head.
I sing it every time. And I see that little weasel dancing. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is figure out our x-intercepts. So we're going to use this quadratic formula to do that. So we have this. We have the y, remember h of x is just like saying y, equals opposite x squared plus 6x plus 16. So we have negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 6 squared minus 4 times negative 1 times 16 over 2 times negative 1, right? Because there's that negative symbol there, so that's like a negative 1. So then we get negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 36 plus 64 all over negative 2. And that's a plus 64 because negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4 times 16 is positive 64. All right, so then we get negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 100 divided by negative 2. Square root of 100 we all know is 10. All right, so what is negative 6 plus 10? 4. 4 divided by negative 2 is?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. What's negative 6 minus 10?
Negative 16.
Divided by negative 2?
8.
Okay, so we have negative 2, 0, and 8, 0 as our x-intercepts. We can't graph negative 2, 0, right? That doesn't make sense with this scenario. We have no way of measuring negative 2 burgers, right? So we're going to plot our other x-intercept at 8. So when you're doing quadratics with a scenario, sometimes it'll make sense to put the x-intercept, sometimes that x-intercept won't make sense, and that's fine, we just move on. So what else do we need for our parabola?
Oh, vertex.
Vertex, yes. Whew. Okay, so let's do the x value of the vertex. So this is when we do the opposite b over 2a. So we have negative 6 over 2 times negative 1, which gives us a positive 3. Cool. And then how do we find the y value of the vertex? Where do we put that x to solve for y?
You do magic.
Where do we put the x to solve for y? Back into the, Katie's on it. Yep, we're going to put it right back in here. Remember, this is our y. So the y value of the vertex, we're going to have y equals opposite of 3 squared plus 6 times 3 plus 16. I have a little visual for you guys over here on the board because if the 3 is negative in parentheses, you get 9, right? Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. If the negative is outside the parentheses, like what we have here, it's 3 squared, and then you take the opposite of it, right? So if it's the number, great, negative 3 times negative 3. If it's just outside the parentheses, like what we have here, that's why we get negative 9 for that first term. Plus 18 plus 16. And then we get our vertex of 3, 25. 3 was the x value, 25 is the y value. So then we'll plot that. Now, since we're not going to plot the negative 2, 0, mostly because our graph it doesn't extend that way, we can still find our y-intercept. Y-intercept is going to be this cool number hanging out here by itself. So I'm going to plot my y-intercept equals 0, 16. So I'm going to plot where I think like 16 would be, right there. And then I'm going to do my best to connect these to make a parabola. I always have to like fix it. I don't know if that helped. Anyway, now I have a parabola-ish looking graph.
He's very sad when he eats 8 cheeseburgers.
Listen, well, no, he's not sad yet. He's not sad until he eats more than 8, right?
8 cheeseburgers is insultingly low.
He's also sad when he throws up 2 cheeseburgers.
Yes. What's your high
So
school?
Ethan thinks
Okay,
I could do it.
I've not yet. My high school is probably 5, but that's like a big cheap. McDonald's people, I can eat at least 20.
What? No.
Yes,
No.
If it's like a
That is-
yeah.
That's
yeah,
not
I-
okay.
My
Ever.
record for piece of pizza is 11.
No.
Yes.
From
I
where?
did at my friend's birthday party.
From where?
Little Caesars, extra large. My record is 2.
I don't think that's a record you should be bragging about. That sounds terrible.
I once ate 2 whole
Some
Papa
people
John's
eat to
pizzas.
live.
That's
Okay. All right. Let's take this information. So we have this beautiful parabola. Yours probably looks better than mine. And we have all this data here. Let's now analyze it. If your friend wants to be as happy as possible, how many cheeseburgers should he eat?
2.
4. Wait,
3.
3, right? Because that's our maximum. That's his peak happiness, right?
I wasn't looking at the graph.
3 cheeseburgers because that is his maximum happiness.
Who else thinks that this logo in the top right corner looks like the Beast Burger logo without the lettering?
Yeah.
Looks like what?
The Beast Burger logo.
I don't know what that is.
What does-
What does the y-intercept represent? So our y-intercept is this 0, 16. What does that represent? Yeah, his happiness without any cheeseburgers. So he seems like a pretty happy person. Until he drowns in cheeseburgers. Okay, how many cheeseburgers can your friend eat before he becomes unhappy?
No.
8.
8.
Yeah. 8 is the max. Then his happiness is below 0. He's unhappy with his life choices.
I mean, aren't we all?
I'm pretty happy with where I've turned out, where I am. I like my life choices. Not always been great, but pretty happy where I am right now. To hang out with you guys.
My life choices are suboptimal. I kind of bought a really, really expensive lightsaber, and like I slightly regret it now, but only a little bit.
Why
Oh,
would
that's
you
worth
regret
the
that
money.
at all?
Do you feel better sharing that?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's like
That's all that
180
matters.
bucks.
So that was a good life choice.
It's like a little worth it. Just a little
I have
bit.
3
Oh
of the
my
same
gosh.
ones.
Okay,
It changes colors.
let's calculate this friend's happiness
Ben, can I have it for $5?
after eating 10 cheeseburgers. So we know he's going to be pretty unhappy, but how unhappy?
Very.
So we're going to put that 10, remember 10 cheeseburgers. Cheeseburgers is our x value of our graph. So we're going to put that 10 in for x with the function. So y equals opposite of 10 squared plus 6 times 10 plus 16. Very unhappy. Remember, we have that negative outside, so it stays with makes the whole value negative. How much time do we have here? Let's see. Yes, Katie.
Oh, in the test, you have to use full sentences.
No, so the way the exam is going to work is you're going to be given a paper copy just like first semester. You're going to do all the work, and then you're going to go on a Canvas and just choose the letters that it goes with. Yeah. Okay. I think we're going to stop right there. Yep, I'm going to give you guys your study guide now to get started on. Let me stop the video.